anghang man ang
Okay na po, ma'am. Nag-read na. Nag-recording
Thank
na
you,
po si ma'am.
Nolby. So,
Welcome po.
again, automatic na kasi sa ako ang Google record ma-save ang recording as well as ang attendance. So I will show you the attendance later. And for now, we will start with our formal lecture. But before we start, kumusta na ang inyong ipang dry? Nagihutan yung kaon? Did you have a report sa inyong rating?
Hinay-liking audio, ma'am.
What? Hinay ka akong audio?
Oo, ma'am. Hinay-liking audio.
But why?
I don't know.
Para man, ma'am. Tama ra. Okay ra po.
Oh, okay ra. Bungol siguro si Aljun. Peace. So, again, any update sa inyong food, dried fruit?
Wa ko katilaw.
Okay, so we will have evaluation anyway. Later, since unlimited. Unsa ra oras mo humanta? Alas 3 no, alas 4. 1 2 3 4. 4 ta mahuman. So unlimited atong time ani, so wala na tay 45 minutes, no. Joke kuan na pa kanang tuloy-tuloy na. And I have a good news for all of you kasi aside sa so we will have our lecture naman every 2 weeks. And every 2 weeks, 2 times a month, tapos 2 times a month pud ta mag face to face, no, sa ato ang actual na food processing. And so for our lecture, the good news is hindi lang ako ang magle-lecture. So I will give the lecture first, and then after that, all of you will have the chance to report, no? And I already gave you our reference, so yun ang magiging reference natin. And pakita ko sa inyo ngayon yung mag-share screen ko, and then we will choose kung sinong reporter. And since 5 lang man mo karon, and there are 26 reports, so 25. Bilang mo tanan enrolled? Nasa 30, no? Well, anyway, problemahon nila ng uban. 5 ba mo? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 ata. Ay, someone. So anyways, ito yung magiging report ninyo, and then I will assign, or you can volunteer. So I guess you can see my screen now. Okay, ko. So this is our topic. So I'll be doing the topics on basic principles, chapter 1, properties of food and processing theory. No? And then second, which will be mga after a week siguro, process control or next meetings, check ko lang kung maka face-to-face ta or online. So, process control, who would like to volunteer as the reporter? Anyone? So, kung walang mag-volunteer, then I will be choosing your names, ha? In no particular order. So, let's start with Aljon. So, Sir Aljon ang mag-report sa process control. Okay lang ba, sir?
Ano sa na-report, ma'am?
Next week.
Sige, ma'am. Sige, try.
Start na
Ayun,
tayo
saan mo
next
ni?
week.
Pag-report. Dili na sa kuwan?
Yes, mag-share screen lang ka next time.
Magbuhat.
Face to face lang, ma'am.
You can make your own PowerPoint or you can use the book itself, kaninga book. This is 591 pages where you can find all your sa pangana, all your topics here. So, si Sir Aljon ang chapter 2, which is process control. Okay, since fourth year na mo and hapit na mo graduate, you should be able to practice reporting or to become
Wala, wala.
future.
Pwede na, wala ko screen, ma'am. Magkuhan ako. Mag-video ako.
Pwede ra pud mag-recording ka no about sa niya if ato lang na siyang i-video or i-play during sa imong schedule. So next, chapter 3, chapter 2 si Sir Aljon, chapter 3 who would like to volunteer, otherwise I will assign someone. Wala. Okay, so sa chapter 3, we will have Anna Grace Sidenio. Okay, so chapter 3, raw material preparation. So if ever you miss your chance to report on your scheduled time, we can anyway move on to the next na ready na reporter. But if again you cannot you lose your chance for the semester, pwede pa naman ka mo mag-report next sem na sad, no? So, Anna Grace, okay lang ba raw material preparation imo ha chapter 3? Okay, so shall we have chapter 4, size reduction? Anyone? Any volunteer? So, walang volunteer. We will have Aya. Okay, Aya, you are chapter 4, size reduction, ha? Okay. So, next we have chapter 5, mixing and forming. Any volunteer? Okay, walang volunteers. So, we will have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Helen. So, Helen, chapter 5 ka ha, mixing and forming. Then, we have chapter 6, separation and concentration of food components. So, next to Helen is Iziel. So, Madam Iziel, chapter 6 ka ha, separation, concentration, and food components. So, if you have kanang objection, you just unmute yourself, no, and speak out if you have suggestion. I mean objection. Next, we'll have chapter 7, fermentation and enzyme technology. So next kay Madam Izel is IJ is Jessa May. So Jessa, fermentation and enzyme technology. Next, we have chapter 8, irradiation. So we'll have Sir Jojo Lundia. Okay, ang topic ni Sir is irradiation. And then chapter 9, processing using electric fields and so on. We have Melrose Lavador. Okay, so that's chapter 9. And we'll have chapter 10, blanching. So for chapter 10, blanching, we'll have LMN, Novi. Madam Novi, okay na ba? Ang blanching, imong topic?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And chapter 11, we have pasteurization, which is very famous. So pasteurization is Sir Rumarati. Aljon.
Ma'am, naman ko, ma'am, chapter 2. Pinakauna.
Ay, utang. Sorry. Sorry, tanga-tanga. So, si Axel, wala pa ka Axel, di ba? Okay, so si Axel will be pasteurization, chapter 7. And chapter
Okay
12,
lang, ma'am,
sino
kung
ka?
nila pasteurization.
Kinsa ni siya si
Aisel.
Isil. So, unsa kita yung topic kanina?
Sa, sa to siya? Chapter 5.
Pag sure ba, kay wala ko nag-memorize. So, cambio na lang mo ni Axel, ha? Chapter 5 tayo mo, ha? Mixing and forming.
Dili, ma'am, 6 day, ma'am, sorry.
Chapter 6, preparation and concentration of food. So, Axel mo na yung topic. And chapter 11, si Madam Izil.
Ma'am,
And
unsa?
chapter,
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am. Unsa na, ma'am? Kamo, kasulod good. I-report na.
imuha nang i-report. Okay? So, chapter 6 pa lang ka. And then,
Subject.
next si Raymer, chapter 12, heat sterilization. Okay, Raymer. So yun lang muna, no, for all, kasi hindi ko na, wala na may lain, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we are only 12 participants here, so that's for your topic. So hanggang chapter 12 lang muna, and the rest will follow yung walang mga topic, no. So take note, chapter 12 tama na ang topic, and 13 next mag-assign na po ta. So for the first topic natin, we will have also time to familiarize our glossary of terms. So we will not, madami kasi ito, no, and we will start with letter A lang muna for now, and next meeting the next reporter, or depende kung matapos ko, then I'll add the letter B, glossary of terms. So our word for the day is absorption, or the uptake of moisture by foods. Wait lang, saan yung para dako-dako siya sa inyong screen. Ayan. So, absorption, or the uptake of moisture by foods. So, when we say acid food, it's a food with a pH of less than 4.6 and a water activity equal to or greater than 0.85. So, example of acid food. Anyone? Ano sa example sa acid food? Kung ang iyang pH is less than 4.6. Ano sa mga acidic na mga food?
Tamban, isda.
Pag sure, sir, Aljon. Kala siguro,
Lemon po.
so,
Lemon or lime.
siguro katong mga, kung may kag lemon juice, yes, it becomes acidic. But lemon itself, na walang sugar, is actually alkaline na siya. No, that's very, diba? It's very amazing kasi the pure lemon is actually an alkaline, but when you mix it with water and sugar, it becomes acidic. So aside from that, ang number one example of acidic is really the soft drinks, diba? So next we have additives, chemicals added to food to improve their eating quality or shelf life. So example of additives.
Salt, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Salt, sugar, and spices. So we also have adiabatic or batic. So changes to the humidity and temperature of air without loss or gain of heat or drying. So the temperature or humidity just change, but without decreasing the heat, no? So how do you do that? Kailangan lang siya pareha sa atong gibuhat sa kadang drying, no? Gi-maintain lang nato ang enough na temperature, no? And I already shown you na 60 degrees Celsius lang atong gigamit na temperature during our drying, di ba? So what is this adiabatic process? It's the processing in which no heat is added or removed from a system, no? Constant lang, pag 60 degrees sa punta. So next term is adulterants. So these are chemicals that are intentionally added to food which are forbidden by law. Okay, example daw, Sir Aljon. Hey, happy birthday. So, example, yung mga bawal na gamot, no, na i-add natin. Diba? Para maging energized tayo. Like, for example, kaning, meth, no? Meth na drugs. So, we also have agglomeration, the production of granules from powder particles. So, ang term niyan ay agglomeration. So, parang may gawin mong granules yung mga powder. And next, we have algorithms. It's the software building blocks used to construct control sequences in computerized process control. So, it's very difficult to imagine because it's computerized, no? But just think that it's a software na mga algorithm, no, which is used for construction. So, alkaline phosphatase is an enzyme in raw milk having a similar D value to heat-resistant pathogens used to test the effectiveness of pasteurization. So, alam na malalaman natin later the meaning of pasteurization, but yun yung ginagamit natin na heat process para ma-disinfect yung ating mga food like ang ating milk, no? Now we have A for annealing, heating to control the ductility of a material. Okay, parang i-control mo ang kanyang form or shape, no, by heating. That's annealing. And then we have aseptic processing. Of course, it's heat sterilization of foods before filling into pre-sterilized aseptic containers. So, sterilized, no, meaning aseptic, walay hugaw. And lastly, for letter A, we have atomizer, a device to form fine droplets of food. Example, in a spray dryer. So, ang tawag anang parang sprayer for very fine droplets of food is atomizer. So we still have a lot of terms of the day from letter B to Z, no, and we'll have it day by day kasi ang dami niyan, no. Pwede ra ganig 1 week pa siguro yung mahuman. So isa-isahon na nato. And then we'll proceed with and try to also check for acronyms sa book and symbols, no? So we'll have the first topic as an introduction, the food industry today. Mo ba niya akong chapter 1, part 1? Yeah, basic principles. So most probably, we will have our next reports after second meeting pa na ako. 2 meetings pa ni matapos. So if you have questions or clarification along the way, no, don't hesitate to ask. So the food industry today, anyone who would like to share their views? What is the status of our food industry today, especially in the Philippines? Anyone? Yes, Jessa. Jessa, are you still there? Unsa lang inyong maingon ba? Maingon ba mo nga halimbawa kung mag-business mo kasi agribusiness mo kasi gwapo ba mag-business sa food karon? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Sino ito? Si Jessa.
Jessa po.
Okay. So, thank you, Jessa. So, most probably, our view on food industry is good, diba? As long as wala pa na uso ang, as long as, gutom pa, food industry is alive. So, therefore, food processing is a very strategic na knowledge and skill for us, no, as um, agribusiness person. So, the aim of the food industry today, in the past, we have four. No, una is to extend the period during a food remains wholesome or shelf life by preservation techniques which inhibit microbiological or biochemical changes and thus allow time for distribution, sales, and home storage. Therefore, kung pwede lang unta forever ang food, no, dili madaot, himuon na dere sa food industry. But mukaon po, kaya pun mo ka ng food nga di madaot. If ever lang, hypothetical question. Ikaw, Jamer. Sir Jamer, ay Raymer, ay Jamer. Sir Raymer, ikaw ba mukaon ka og ka ng, like for example, ingon nila, no, na daw apple nga dili madaot. Nakakaon na mo, anak. Kasi nakakaon na nag-apple nga kana, naka-store na mo og apple sa inyong ref for nga nag-last long og isa ka bulan. Wala pa? Wala mo apple. Wala apple sa samal, no? Mangga, daghan kaayo, my God. So, let's say mangga. Kana kung palitan na nato ang mangga or, for example, ang mangga na mahinog, imposible kay mag-last og 1 week, no? Diba? What if mag-last na siya og isa ka bulan? Is that possible? Yes, Madam Aizil?
Possible siguro ma'am, basta na chemical i-add. I-add on.
Yes. And then, kita ba, ganahan mo mukaon, anak?
Shake lang.
Shake. So, that is very possible, no? And in fact, we are already eating those kinds of food. Kanang mga chips nato, no? Nga mag-last long. And there are a lot of choices in the food industry how to do that. Natay use of chemicals, natay mga natural techniques, and so on. And second is to increase the variety in the diet by providing a range of attractive flavors, colors, aromas, and textures in food, collectively known as eating quality, sensory characteristic, or organoleptic quality. So, mo po na ang other synonym ng mga sensory or eating qualities. Or aim to change the form of the food to allow further processing pa. Like for example, the milling of grains into flour. Diba? Like for example, kanang wheat flour, no? Ato pa siyang ginagaling to make it into flour kasi pag gawin natin siyang flour, pwede natin siyang gawing different kinds of breads, cakes. So, ayun, no? Kasi para maging very sa tawagan ni Ana, very appealing to our taste buds, no? Ganahan kita mukaon kasi wala unsa na siya, no? Something new lagi na siya, na new flavor ang ang beer or ang whatever, no? Kung na new type of cake, nakakaon na mo og sa una chiffon cake lang available or vanilla. Karon we have ube, we have mango cake, diba? Diba? Kulang na lang may yung tagka ng cake, peanut cake, or let's say, in the future, no? If mukaon na taogan ng mga insekto, diba? Or mga grasses, pwede natin gawing grass cake. Diba? That's hypothetical, but who knows, it will happen. No? Basi isa pa sa inyo ang magbuhat, ana. So third is to provide the nutrients required for health, or known as the nutritional quality of food. So of course, we should be sensitive na kailangan nutritious siya kasi um ayun na paghulak na magkasakit ka, no? Make your food as your medicine. Make your food as your nourishment for your health. Dili kay mukaon ka og ganang food na makadaot sa imo ha. You know, na makadawat ang too much sugar, too much salt. So, dapat kabalo ka mo balance sa imuhang food or diet. And lastly, to generate income for the manufacturing industry. Of course, kwarta-kwarta pod, no? Business good na siya. Okay, so those are the 4 aims of the food industry. And so the main there are a lot of ways to do this, no? And isa na dito is yung meron tayong frozen vegetables, no? Which are intended to have sensory and nutritional qualities that are close as possible to the fresh product, but with a shelf life of several months instead of few days or weeks. And other purpose of freezing is to preserve the food, no? So ang pinaka common and efficient way na ginagamit natin ay talaga freezing and refrigeration. Or in other naman sa sugar confectionery and snack foods, they will also provide variety in the diet and number of shades, flavors, colors, textures, and produced from basic raw materials. So, food processing involving combination of procedures to achieve the intended changes to the raw materials. Pwede siyang categorize into unit operation, no, as and group together to form a process, no. That's why katong fruit drying ganita, 'di ba? So there are pwedeng a lot of techniques that you can do, no, para to make our dried products better. So could be combination and sequence of operation, no? Like for example, kita gidiretso naman nato the way how we slice it, kailangan tama na ba siya or enough sa temperature na imong gamiton. So that is why when you have a secret na recipe or ingredient na pwede ninyo or na ay magtudlo sa inyo, mag-share sa inyo about their secret na ingredient or recipe, the better. It will save your time for a trial and error. So also, as we go on and as our countries become industrial like Samal, no, as you can see, no, in just a matter of how many years, Samal population is increasing, especially na pag nagkaroon na ng tulay dyan, no? So it's because Samal is the tourist destination ng Davao City. So, nag-change po ang atong market for processed foods. And unlike sa una, no, consumers no longer require shelf life of several months at ambient temperature for the majority of foods. And the lifestyle could also change, no? Like sa una wala pa yung refrigerator, pero natay freezer. Karon na natay freezer, natay microwave ovens. So, that would reflect na talaga nag-change ang demand for food or mga convenient way to prepare like frozen, chilled storage, or moderate lang na shelf life. So, we have another aspect, the food processing technology. There is now also increasing demand of consumer for food that have fewer synthetic additives or have undergone fewer changes during processing. So we all know, although we really need the food processing technology, but then we are also conscious na hindi siya masyadong magkaroon ng big effects sa ating food. As much as possible, we will make them healthier, no? Ayun. So, as the days go by, meron na tayong introduction ng mga low-fat, sugar-free, or low-salt products, di ba? According to ANO 1999. And meron din tayong mga food products, even candies and mga junk foods, no, na supplemented with vitamins, minerals, and probiotic culture, which appeared lang in the recent years. And now, do we agree of the use of the genetically modified food ingredients? Because until now, it is unresolved. So, ano ba talaga ang gusto natin? Like for you, no? Do you prefer natural products or do you want a manipulated products? Parang, ano ba tawag? Synthetic products or natural products? Anyone? Yes, Madam Novi.
Po.
Ha?
Pardon po, ma'am. Sakit to, ma'am.
Unsay mas ganahan nimo, natural product or kanang process or artificial?
Kuan siguro, ma'am. Natural product po.
So therefore, kung mayon kag kamote, mas ganahan ka atong ilungag ang kamote kaysa himuon siyang chips.
Opo. Mas, kuan man gud, ma'am, kanang mas ang kanang taste niya ba kay kanang original kay natural good.
Okay.
Compared sa kuan process kay naa ni mga kanang vitamins ato nga nangawala. Yes po, ana po.
In fact, si Novi is in the younger generation, ano. Pero, like, for, wala pa man pudnoy mo yung mga anak, si Madam Aizil, na naman siya kay anak. Unsay mga pagkaon sa imong mga anak, tudluan mo siyang silang mga natural foods, kanang mga processed food, like bacon.
Sa mga estudyante, ma'am, almost processed food na jud siya, pero ginapakuha raman ako na silang bayabas sa mga kilid, so nagyapon natural.
Daghan tayo magbayabas darang dapita.
Oo.
Sige, thank you for sharing,
Studying.
Madam Aizil.
Sige, ma'am.
Okay, so yun, no? But sabi nga ni Aizil, the new generation, no, are used to processed food na. And in the last 10 to 15 years also, we have changes through mga legislation, mga laws, requirements of manufacturers to really protect the consumer from hazardous food. And para maiwasan ang food poisoning, food adulteration, kasi hindi natin alam, lagyan pala nila ng, di ba, like, the usual joke natin na yung siopaw, meron siyang, ang meat niya ay from the rats or daga, di ba? But that was just a joke. And like, for example, no, we don't know if food contains mga not only unacceptable na mga chemicals but also ingredients, no? And in the 1980s to 90s, meron tayong outbreak ng bovine spongiform encephalitis or in British cattle. So, nagkaroon tayo ng food pressure for food safety and quality para maiwasan ang spread nito. So, nagkaroon ng legislation internationally, no? And then, may have a lot of trends na mag-change yung ating mga processor for key key respect. First, we have increasing investment in capital, automated processes to reduce labor and energy costs. And second is the philosophy from quality control, no, by testing final products and to more sophisticated approach sa quality assurance and all aspect ng management. Kaya tinatawag natin siyang good agricultural practice or good manufacturing practice, GMP. And third, high levels of competition and slowing the growth of food market in Europe and in USA during the 70s. This caused proactive approach to create demand using mga sophisticated marketing techniques and large advertising budgets. So sometimes, ang ating negosyo nagbabase sa ating marketing style or technique strategies. So that's also very important. And lastly, there has been shift in power and control of food markets from manufacturers to large retail companies. So mostly, diba, pag nagiging malaki na yung manufacturer mo, food market mo, so mas powerful siya. So there has been a lot of changes in technology, no, which are affected by variety of factors like substantial increase in the cost, both the energy and labor. So ang pag magtaas ang kuryente and labor, and by public pressure and legislation also have negative environmental effects sa processing, particular yung for air, water pollution, and energy consumption. And mga equipment, no, has now been increasingly sophisticated. Manual na lahat, no, automated na. Yung food processing video na pinakita ko sa inyo, 'di ba? Meron na siyang para maless ang labor. So ginapadaga na lang ang food through a conveyor. Okay, we also have the so-called microprocessor, which are almost universal to control food processing equipment, which is automation of entire process na lahat from the reception of materials, processing, packaging, hanggang warehousing. And this is already happening in other countries and even in Philippines. And but this require capital investment, of course, no, to improve quality assurance, reduce production costs and wastage. And mas efficient na, no? Para less energy, fewer operators, and generates increased revenue market share. At high quality pa. So, food industry is not only local but global siya, and is dominated by multinational companies. So meron there's a lot of example of companies here, and like in one aspect of that is yung global sourcing of raw materials and ingredients, no, by these multi companies. For example, spices, coffee, cocoa. And those are examples. And so what happened? We also have a resurgence ng mga local distinctive food and fair food traded foods in some other country, and also increase nag-start na tayo dito sa Philippines, no? In fact, like for example, may yung tawag ka ng there are specialty food, no, pag in one time nag-order ko, asan ko nag-order ato? Dito dahil sa Chelsea ba to? Chelsea by the Sea sa Samal, diha. And then naa sila ginatawag na goat milk from sige nang sa Puentes Pina nga kanang resort. Sige na siya nga resort ang tawag kana kay Puentes Pina. Yan daw hag orchids and also bird show. Nakalimot ko. So na particular like for example, no, in the future, No, pwede tamang mato ka sa restaurant na mag-offer kag specialty food kung order sila like coffee from Izil's Farm or Novis Farm, no? Kung maka-manufacture na mo og ganang mga dried fruits for example, no? Pwede na siya i-include sa menu sa mga restaurants or diha sa even mga resorts sa Samar. So those are just few, no? And meron din tayong tinatawag na teleshopping in the internet. I know you're very familiar already na online seller. Ayun. So that ends our introduction. Any questions or clarification before we proceed with the properties of liquids, solids, and gases? So these are properties of food, no? Napamamudara. So walay questions? Any questions or clarification?
Wala na, ma'am.
Wala na. Okay, so that is the status of our food industry. Therefore, kung kamo pabuton, kasi elective lang man ninyo, no? In fact, ang food technology or food science is one course na siya. But in your course, you are given the chance na one subject, food processing, which is elective. And again, as I have told you last time, ang food processing ay meron TESDA competency, no? NC2. So, yung sa akin na kasi siya, na nag-expired na, and I am about to renew that again, but at the moment, wala pa renewal na sa TESDA kasi ang sabi nila pa daw sila migration. And hopefully kayo in related sa our subjects, we can have assessment or training kasi pag training mura po siyang nagaklase ka, no? But you are scholar. Anyway, pero as for now wala pa kasi, so we will miss the chance. So, moving on, we shall have the properties of foods and processing theory. So, since high school mo, kabalo na mo kung unsay mga properties sa liquids and solids and gases, no? Diba? And it has various effects when you prepare food with these phase properties, diba? So, what will happen if you are dealing with fluid, of course? Kaya nga, meron tayong mga measuring cups, no? And what will happen if you are dealing with gases? Like, for example, ice cream na using liquid nitrogen. Kita na mo, anak? Kita na mo. O, nakakaon na ka, Sir Aljon?
Wala pa, pero kita na sa kuan. Sa bit.
Sa video. So, just look for, ice cream using liquid nitrogen, and it's so amazing.
Yes, ma'am. Ice cream chocolates.
Chocolate Jody mong favorite. Okay. So, and due to these properties, you can play around sa food processing kung unsaon mo siya pag-deal, no? Like for example, transition from solid to fluid and back is known as a phase transition, and this is important in many types of food processing. So, like for example, solid siya, gusto nimo siya ipa-liquid, and ipa-fluid yan, and from fluid, gusto nimo siya ipa-solid. Can you do that? Of course, no? We have water to water vapor, evaporation, and distillation and dehydration, which will be shown in the next chapter is shown here. Or water to ice in freezing. Of course, mag-ice. Nahimo na kag-ice. Nakadali, no? And don't you know, kasi ang like for example no naka-experience na mo nga gi-ice ninyo sa glass ang or sa plastic ang tubig gi-freeze ninyo ba so unsay mahitabo kung puno kayo ang inyuhang kanang halimbawa maski sa cellophane god ang himo mo ice sa cellophane sa plastic unsay mahitabo kung puno kayong sudlanan. Napuno gyud ninyo ang cellophane ba niya? Napuno po ninyo ang plastic or whatever glass, unsay mahitabo? Pag na-ice na siya. Muawa siya dili.
Dili.
Kung puno siya ba? Kung puno.
Awas na, mag-awas.
Muawas siya, diba? Gano'n man ang muawas man na siya.
Kaya ang liquid mo na, hino siyang solid, murag mas mo, magandang sila.
Yes. Very good. Si Jessa to o si Kon? Ikaw to, Jessa. Hindi mo na ako makita. Kaya naka-share screen ko. Yan sa phone. So, very good, no? Kasi mo increase yung volume. Once mahimo ang water, mahimong solid, mo increase yung volume. So, kung ang mahitabo sa imong plastic nga puno kay na taklob, muawas na siya. No? And, kung halimbawa, naka-cellophane siya, di ba, ma-deform siya, muburot ang cellophane, ka-experience mo, ana. So, that's one case, no? And, or crystallization of fats, no? Mahimong ice imong fats. No? Sana, mahimo pog ice akong fats. Wait lang ha. Oh my God, 3:22 na? Wait lang ha. Yung tawag manggol si ano. Asan ako? Naka-share screen mo ka na? Okay. Ayan. Or we also have the so-called, nagay ko. Phase transition to, no? And we have the so-called isothermal, no? Phase transition temperature by releasing absorption of latent heat and can be presented by phase diagram, no? Sa figure. Next figure. And the second type of transition is glass transition. Takes place without the release of absorption of latent heat and involves the transition of a food to amorphous glass state and its glass transition to temperature, which is dependent on the temperature of the food, the time, and the moisture content of the food. Examples of glass transition will be shown later sa chapter 21. No? So, in this case, yung materials will change to glasses and they do not become crystalline, but retain the disorder of the liquid state. So, these are example of mga effects of the properties no, of the liquids and gases and fluids, solids. So, there are also other, no, like from the details of 9 key concept underlying relationship between molecular mobility and food stability given by Fenema. So in this process, the glass state, which include aroma retention, crystallization, enzyme activity, and microbial activity, 9 enzyme browning, oxidation, and agglomeration and caking. So ito yung mga involved na mga processes for that. Okay. Now, how about the density and specific gravity? Please inform me kung ano na taha, alas 3 na. 2 to 3. Alas 3 na. Alas 3 naman yun. 1 hour na to, no? Alas 4 di akong pasabot. please, remind me kung ano na ha, 350 na ha. 350 na good. 350 na ba?
324 pa sa ako, ma'am.
Sige. I-con ko ha. I-remind ko kung 350 na. Because we are going to end our discussion. So, going back sa density and specific gravity, is also very important in separation processes because differences in density will have important effects sa operation ng size reduction and mixing equipment. No? Like for example, the density of a material equal to its mass divided by its volume has units of kilogram per cubic meter. So example, no, will be shown also on table 1.1. So this is the density of materials, no? So the density of materials is not constant and changes with temperature. Mag-change na siya. Higher temperature reduce density of materials. So higher temperature meaning mainit. So mugamay ang iyahang density and pressure. But this particular important influence where difference in density cause convection currents to be established. So ito yung mga densities of food and other materials, no? So asa ang pinakadako og density dire? Of course, ang gas sa kagaan niya, no? Pinakagamay gina siyang density. So unsa ang pinakadagkong density here? We have the solids, of course.
Solid.
Okay, very good. And among the solids, asa pinakadakog density?
Liquid.
Kaning copper, ma'am.
Copper. Asa may density sa liquid dara? Wala pa. Like for example, so ito na yung properties na fluids. For example, no, kanang ngano man nga mag-float sa water ang salbabida kumpara sa kanang tawag na parang sa coin or sa dagom ngano mo di man mag-float ang dagom ang coin. Anyone?
Mamay gas ang salbabida, ma'am.
So iyahang density is gamay lang
Mas
kumpara sa
mas gamay.
no? Very good. So what are the properties of the fluid in terms of thermal conductivity, density, dynamic viscosity, and temperature? So compare sa air. So we have here mga air and gases and different types of fluids, no? So in terms of density, ang pinakamalaking density ng fluid ay ang density ng water is nasa 1,000, no? And pinakamataas itong sodium chloride solution pag meron na siyang salt, 'di ba? And thermal conductivity or yung heat, almost the same lang naman sila lahat. Pero pag medyo matamis or maparat, medyo mo increase ang iyahang thermal conductivity, 'di ba? So ayun. But in terms of temperature, so ang both carbon dioxide, yung air at saka yung water have 100 degrees Celsius. So those are specific again why do we need to know the specific properties, like for example the density of these fluids or solids and so on? Okay, kasi naga-change siya in effect to temperature, and that we should learn para makontrol natin ang ating pagkain. So next, we have this one is just a computation on like how many oxygen that enters the polyethylene packing material in 24 hours packed surface area of 750 centimeters square ng ganon, no? Example lang na siya. Ayaw, di lang na ito na digdibon kay pang kuan yun na siya, pang food technology na siya. So, another one is density of gases and vapors also is referred to as specific volume. So, ang density niya will be measured as volume, which will be occupied by unit mass of gas or vapor, and the inverse of density. So, ginagamit na to for calculation ng amount ng vapor para ma-handle yung fans during dehydration, and by vacuum pumps in freezing, drying, or vacuum evaporation. And when air is also incorporated into the liquids, for example, cake, butters, ice cream, and whipped cream, it will create a foam and the density is reduced. O, diba? May mga ganun effect. And the amount of air in that is incorporated, it will be referred to as the overrun. No? So this is the computation of the overrun. The volume of the foam minus the volume of the liquid and over the volume of the liquid and times 100. Therefore, the overrun values for 60 to 100% ice cream is for ice cream, and for whipped cream naman ay nasa 100 to 120%. No? So, another property is the viscosity. Ano ito? It's the important characteristic of liquid food in many areas for food processing. For example, the characteristic of the mouthfeel of the food products such as tomato ketchup, the cream, the syrup, and the yogurt. No, which depends on their consistency or viscosity. So, this will also be changing depende sa heat, cool, concentration, and very important effect on the power needed to pump these products. So, we have here the viscosities of the different food in this one. Colloidal rate, no? Aha naman to. Okay. So, viscosity is the liquid's internal resistance to flow. No? Meaning, kung sticky kayo siya, di kayo siya mo, pareha sa tubig nga, mo diretso lang og kahagbong or muagas. So, a liquid can be envisaged as having series of layers pag-flow nito over the surface. And the uppermost flows layer will fastest and drags the next layer along a slightly lower velocity and so on, no? So matakdan siya from one to another. And the force that moves the liquid is known as the shearing force or shearing stress. And the velocity gradient is known as the shear rate. No? So the shear stress is plotted against shear rate, where most simple liquids and gases show linear relationship. So ito yung tinatawag na Newtonian fluids. Like water, most oils, gases, and simple solution of sugars and salts. Ito yung mga Newtonian fluids. So, non-linear relationship siya or non-Newtonian. So, for liquids naman, yung viscosity decreases with an increase in temperature. But for most gases, it increases with temperature. Ayun. And many liquid foods are non-Newtonian, including emulsions, suspensions, and concentrated solutions that contain starches, pectins, gums, and proteins. So, ito yung mga Newtonian properties again. And these are also classified broadly as pseudoplastic fluid or yung viscosity decrease as the shear rate increase. No? Like emulsions, suspension, and concentrated fruit juice and purees. We also have dilatant fluid or yung viscosity increases as the shear rate increase. This behavior is less common but is found with liquid chocolate and corn flour suspension. So we have Bingham or Casson plastic fluids. So there is no flow until critical shear stress is reached and the shear rate is either linear, Bingham type, or nonlinear Casson type, such as the tomato ketchup. And we have the thixotropic fluid or yung structure breaks down, viscosity decreases with continued shear stress. Like for the most creams, no? Pag ginabit na nimo ang cream, nag-increase ang viscosity. And lastly, we have the rheopectic fluid. The structure building up viscosity increases with continued shear stress or whipping cream. Ayun. So, you can see here the different shear stress against shear rate. So, we also have another type, the viscoelastic material. It has viscous and elastic properties exhibited at the same time. When shear stress is removed, the material never fully returns to its original shape and there is permanent deformation. For example, in the dough, in a cheese, or a gel foods. So that's why yun yung mga effect. And how to measure the viscosity? Complicated by the range of terms. And simplest ratio of the stress to shear rate is termed as the dynamic viscosity or the kinematic viscosity. So it is equal to the dynamic viscosity over density. So it's also known as relative viscosity, specific viscosity, and apparent viscosity. Ayun. So I guess we will continue with surface activity by next meeting. If you have questions or clarification, medyo mahaba pa siya. Properties of the soil, but hopefully matapos nag-introduction kasi ta. Hopefully matapos na to na siya before the next reporter will start. Well, anyway, mag-ready lang muna.
Ako pakota na, ma'am.
Yes.
Next. Sunod pa dyan kung nga Sabado mag-kuhan, ma'am, report, ma'am.
Oo, kasi madami pa siya. Oh. Properties man ako ang i-report tanan. And
Asa siya, ma'am, nga kuhan, ma'am. Kaning libro, ma'am.
kanira pod, mo ni mong next topic o kani?
May
Process
mga hard
control.
copy sa kuhan topic.
Kani, process control. Mora po ning topic na adere. Pwede na ka mo gamit ani or pwede na po ka maghimog imuhang sariling presentation.
Ay, kana lang, ma'am. Kana lang akong gamiton niya. Diyan lang ipakita. Huwag niya mag-hard copy lang ako sa kuhan, Tria. Sa report.
Okay. Wala problema. So I guess that's all. I feel 38 pa naman noon. So we'll just have one class naman lang. Go to application. Okay. So we will just be having one more or less 1 hour class. No? Para you will have time for more deep study sa inyong So for our exam, since wala pa man ta ka lecture, so dili pa ta ka exam. But I'll be giving you a bring home exam. No, akong i-send sa inyo on karon man day supposedly inyong schedule, no? Pwede karon ako ihatag. Pero advance siya kasi ang topic late man siya. Anyway, bring home naman siya, no? So at least advanced study. So any questions or clarification before we end?
Wala na, ma'am.
Wala na. Okay. So thank you everyone. And si Delin, wala pa topic si Delin, no?
Wala pa.
So Delin, ang topic mo is chapter 13, ha?
Ananday ni ma'am, individual reporting.
Yes, that's an individual report. Kasi mag-4th year na mo, dapat mag-practice na mo na magtudlo.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that will be all, everyone. And Wala na yung mga pangutana, so we can end. Okay, so thank you and see you again. Update na ko ha next week. Bye-bye.
Ako na ni Mama recording.
Mag-end na ako. Automatic end siya.
Sige po, Ma.
Sige, bye-bye.